Hey, what's going on, guys? James here, representing the Geeky Comrade. I'm here bringing you another YouTube video, and this one is an interesting video because this is, you could title this, What Would Have Happened If the Original WWE Games Universe Mode Would Have Continued. I just randomly got this idea earlier this week, and I've wanted to record it for a few days now, and every time I go to record it, something comes up and I can't record it at that time, but I decided I finally got the time to record it. And I was just going through my Google Docs and found this doc last edit on the July 7th, 2018, which was when it was around the idea I was still tossing and turning about, do I want to end the original universe, do I want to continue it, what have you, and I, of course, eventually decided to end it, and then Tyson and I brought back the co-op universe, and we're actually loving that now. And again, little update, side note here, again, BCW Super Show, the matches are done. I might go back and record just a few extra little things here. I just got all the segments and stuff to record. I don't have a release date. I would love to get it out rather soon, but it's actually we actually plan on having some dual commentary for that video, so there's still some stuff that needs to get done, obviously, and I'll leave it there. But yeah, so this is what would have happened if the original universe that at the time I was running by myself, but started off me and Tyson running it together. If this would have continued on into 2K18, and then I would have continued that again into 2K19, this doc will go over the ideas I was thinking about. And as you can see at the top, actually, I don't know if I'll be showing the Google Doc in the video or not, but at the top of the doc it says, My YouTube Universe, obviously, pay-per-view match card ideas. And of course, this is coming off of the SummerSlam pay-per-view that was done in 2K17, and I wanted to go right after SummerSlam into Backlash. Originally, I wanted to go into Unforgiven, and I was going to really build off of SummerSlam with that show, but they never have an Unforgiven arena, and I'm not huge on custom arenas. I'm a little more into the idea now, but then I really was against custom content for the most part. But yeah, so we were going to Backlash, which was the September pay-per-view for the first year of the original universe, and I thought right away, should I have Backlash play off of SummerSlam? And I don't necessarily remember if I was going to, but the first note here is I could do something obviously with Triple H, Rollins, and Christian, because that was the story that I was building up to since the end of Money in the Bank to SummerSlam. And that match at SummerSlam for 2K17's SummerSlam show, obviously, it was originally supposed to be Seth Rollins versus Christian versus Triple H for the WWE Championship in a triple threat match. But admittedly, I just did something really dumb, and I couldn't do the match at the time, and I had to quickly sidetrack that into Jason Jordan and Chad Gable debuting onto the main roster from NXT, and give Jason Jordan that opportunity, because he was the only guy because there was no one on Raw that I could give the opportunity just out of the blue, and American Alpha were the only people that I could reasonably call up from NXT just out of nowhere. So I did that. But yeah, so I thought I could do something with Triple H, Rollins, and Christian, and that was, again, a lot of this stuff has been so long, about a year ago at this point, that I don't remember everything. But yeah, that was an idea. Then the next point is Dangerous Alliance versus Social Outcasts, and that was Dangerous Alliance versus Social Outcasts, because I knew I wanted that, and that already builds off of SummerSlam. Because I knew at the end of the day that giving the Social Outcasts the win at SummerSlam over Alex Ray and Dolph Ziggler, the Dangerous Alliance, was the smart decision, because if I had them lose there, that means Alex and Dolph would have run through everybody on Raw, and at the time, I had no plans of bringing in American Alpha, so they wouldn't have had anyone to face. And even then, American Alpha would have just debuted at the time. So yeah, they just wouldn't have had anybody to face. So that was the smart decision there, which was not the original plan at all, but it was just a last minute decision, literally flooding the match at the time. So yeah, I did want to have a rematch there. I was going to bring back T-Ice, who at that point had missed all of the month of August in Universe. But I was going to bring him back for a match with Roman Reigns, which would have been a rematch coming from the Go Home episode of Raw prior to the July pay-per-view Bragging Rights, where it was a triple threat match between Roman Reigns, Zack Ryder, and T-Ice. T-Ice was the champion at the time, the US champion, and Reigns won. So yeah, so I did want to have T-Ice versus Reigns, bring him back and build up to a rematch for Backlash, and I just wanted to have a US title feud coming out of SummerSlam between those two, try and make it high stakes. And then I also thought for a little bit, maybe making it like a fatal 4-way, T-Ice, Reigns, Sami Zayn, and Samoa Joe, because both Zayn and Joe also had claims to the title. And part of me, looking back on that, or looking at that now, part of me is against that, because at SummerSlam we had an Elimination 6-pack challenge. So what's the point of having that big match and then immediately going into another multi-man match for the US title? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But that was an idea as well. And then I knew I wanted Kid and Cesaro, as I actually have Kid misspelled somehow, as the I is capitalized. I don't know how in the world I did that at the time, but completely just did not notice it. But yeah, I had Kid and Cesaro versus the Brothers of Destruction. And I said it doesn't build off of SummerSlam fully, but it kind of does, and I can still make it work. And that match had to come to play because from 2K16, I brought in two sets of tag titles. I had Raw had the WWE Tag Team titles, and I brought back the World Tag Team titles for SmackDown. And the thing was with that, I had them won by the Dudley Boys. In fact, I had the Dudley Boys essentially just kind of handed the titles because they were just the best team on SmackDown. Nobody had any other claim to the titles at all. So they were the first champions. They were doing a great job running through everybody. And Kid and Cesaro at SummerSlam won a number one contender tag match against Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. And so they were set to eventually face the Dudleys at the September pay-per-view. But my problem was, so I had actually stopped uploading my problem actually was, I tried to start the month of September back when I was doing 2K17, but I just couldn't record, like, the shows. Like, every time I started to, I just never could get something that I liked. So, yeah, I just eventually put it on hiatus and then brought it back with 2K18, or tried to, and then eventually the series ended. But yeah, so they won the number one contenders match, and because at the time the Dudleys were not in 2K18, and I didn't want to have to rely on potentially bad CAWs for the Dudleys, I said screw it, and I actually went back to 2K17 for a little bit and recorded a little segment with Kane and Taker just absolutely destroying the Dudleys, taking them out, putting them on the shelf, and that helped. Sadly though, I only actually did 2 episodes of 2K18 Universe, so no one actually got to see that footage. If I still have that footage, I could overlay it right now in the video, just so you could see it. It's nothing spectacular, but, I mean, you would be able to kind of see it at that point. But yeah, that was the thing again. I was going to have Kid and Cesaro versus the Brothers of Destruction. And I also wanted a story for the women's title, as I only had one women's title at the time, that would kind of build off of SummerSlam. And I wanted it to have... No. I don't think it would have built off SummerSlam. But I wanted to have 3 of the 4 horsewomen band together to take out Paige and Natalya. Oh, I remember. I remember now. I wanted to have the 4 horsewomen as heels. I wanted to have Becky, Sasha, Bayley, and Charlotte all as heels. So that's what that was. So I was going to have them... Oh, I don't remember what the match would have been at... Natalya was the women's champion at the time. I'm guessing... Judging, like, looking lower down the list here, I'm guessing I wanted Paige versus Natalya at Backlash. I was going to have the match ruined by 3 of the 4 members of the 4 horsewomen, because Bayley was still in NXT at the time for Universe. So yeah, that's a thing. Other than that, there is... I wanted AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens was the World Heavyweight Champion, and... he was coming off of SummerSlam where he broke out the package pile driver to finally put away Finn Balor, and it did hurt Balor. And I also wanted to potentially actually make that a triple threat match, and I would have been very okay with that, as it would have been AJ Styles, Mark Henry, and Kevin Owens, because in the original universe, for whatever reason, AJ Styles had never beaten Mark Henry, and I was going to build off of that for whatever reason. And I'm actually completely cool with that. And then the last thing I had for the notes here for Backlash is I wanted Adam Daniels versus The Miz for the Intercontinental title, and Daniels was the Intercontinental Champion at the time. And there wouldn't have been a perfect way to build off of SummerSlam in this case, because I did a stupid thing at the time where I interjected myself as a CAW into the universe. And it was a terrible idea. Never do that. Just never do that if you're listening to this and you want to do your own universe. But that was a thing that I did, and eventually I wisened up, and I eventually got rid of myself by having Daniels completely just wreck me in terms of being a competitor. And that worked out. But I also have some comments for this page that are notes, and I also have an official match card that I was gonna go with. So not an official match card, but just like a template, if you will. And that was WWE title, Seth Rollins versus Triple H, Dangerous Alliance versus Social Outcast, and a SummerSlam rematch for the WWE Tag Team titles on Raw. T.I.'s versus Roman Reigns, which is a U.S. title rematch from back in July. Tyson Kidd and Cesaro against the Brothers of Destruction for the vacant World Tag Team titles. Paige and Natalya Paige and Natalya for the women's title, but that match was going to be ruined by Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky Lynch. AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens for the World Heavyweight Championship. And then Samoa Joe versus Chris Jericho, because they had a rivalry going at the time. And I was saying, have Jericho find a partner who will help him beat Joe, but that's... I don't know what I was thinking at the time when I wrote this, because Jericho already had a partner. I was running the story where, Jericho and Triple H were essentially, running the new evolution. It was Jericho, Del Rio, Roman Reigns, and Triple H all on one side. But that was the thing. If you look at the comments for this stuff, with the Rollins Triple H thing, I had some notes here that says, I'm still not sure if this is right, having Rollins and Triple H for the title one-on-one. I could have Seth finally get a fair match, because he was screwed out of his title at Money in the Bank by Triple H. And then eventually work him out of the WWE title picture, because I knew I didn't want Rollins to take the title from Triple H. I knew that. Then I have another note here right underneath that for the same match that says, let's have Triple H beat Seth clean on Raw and then face Christian at Backlash, because I want in the match at Backlash, if it were to be Christian against Triple H, I want Triple H to hit Christian with everything, nothing works, then he eventually has to cheat to beat Christian. Because I didn't want actually to build up a massive feud, a massive rivalry between the two that would culminate at the end of the year, the last pay-per-view of the year in Universe. I already know this, it was going to be a Hell in a Cell match, and I was going to have Christian finally be able to get that title off of Triple H and be the one to do it. And that's something I'd already planned for so long. I think that I was probably, more than likely, I was planning that before SummerSlam even came out. But yeah, that was the thing. Then more notes here, this time for the whole thing with the Dangerous Alliance, which of course was Alex Reigns, Dolph Ziggler, and T-Ice. All three of those guys, because I didn't mention that earlier. And I said I kind of want T-Ice to team with Dolph to face Bo and Fandango, because Fandango was in the Social Outcasts. But then I said maybe I'll go with Alex and Dolph at Backlash, and then have T-Ice and Dolph at Battleground. Kind of get the most out of the feud. And then I said let's have T-Ice face Roman and not have him face Triple H in September, because there was a story going on at the time that my GM of Raw at the time actually was Kurt Angle. Well before WWE actually brought Kurt Angle in as the GM of Raw in real life. Yeah, that's right. I called the shot first. Either way, so yeah. And this whole thing was, it was a story between, okay, Triple H was doing everything in his power to win and then keep the WWE title. So he was cheating to win matches. He had the referee in his pocket. All stuff like that. And, I'm trying to think. Throughout the whole month of September, Kurt Angle was going to make Triple H face, do 4 straight open challenges. 5 if you count the pay-per-view. So that was the whole thing going with that. So then I just decided, and originally I was going to have T-Ice face Triple H in September, because T-Ice had kind of been screwed out of a win prior to Triple H winning the WWE title at Money in the Bank. Eventually I decided, you know what, screw that, and I'm not going to have that. Let's actually have T-Ice just face Roman Reigns at Backlash in a rematch for his US title. And then I also had some notes for Daniels and The Miz if that were to happen. And I said that was going to be Daniels needs an opponent, but again, I'm not sure. It could be Miz, it could be Mark Henry, it could be Sheamus, it could be someone else completely. But I did know that, because I had some ideas to replace the TV title at the time with the Hardcore title. And I said I want to have someone attack Adam in the back and use the Hardcore title's 24/7 rules. But then I also said in a reply later, that's assuming that I even bring the Hardcore title in, because I hadn't done it at the time, and that I may just keep the TV title. So I don't know. And then I knew in October I want to have the Battleground pay-per-view, as that's the end of Backlash. And I didn't have a whole lot of planning done for Battleground, especially since we didn't get there at all. But we had, let's see, of course Triple H was still gonna be the WWE champion at the time, so he had to face somebody. I knew it was going to be the Social Outcasts against the Dangerous Alliance, this time T-Ice and Dolph. I knew that was going to happen. I knew Kid and Cesaro were going to beat the Brothers of Destruction at Backlash, so I had to find an opponent for them. Roman Reigns had to face somebody as a US champion. Natalya was going to face Paige and then a returning Beth Phoenix. But yeah, I had planned on that, Beth Phoenix to return, build on the friendship of her and Natalya, and Beth, Natalya, and Paige were all going to have a triple threat match for the title. I was going to have Paige get taken out before the match, and then I was going to have the 4 horsewomen ruin this match as well. But I was going to have Beth and Natalya, actually fully reunite, and then kind of even the odds. So that would have been a thing. And then I was going to have, of course, Kevin was going to have to defend the world title on SmackDown against somebody, and then Daniel's going to have to defend the Intercontinental title against somebody. And neither match was, planned at all. So, yeah, that was the thing. that was that. And I only have 2 notes for this. And that first thing is who Triple H could have faced. And I said I could have GM Angle step up to try and dethrone Triple H. And I said I'm kind of already doing that at the time, though I still want Christian to be the one to do it. And then I said I wanted to have Alex Rain, who was Mr. Money in the Bank for Raw at the time, and I already knew that eventually if I ever got to that Hell in a Cell match with Christian and Triple H, Christian finally dethroning him, I was going to have Alex, right as the show was about to go off the air, Alex Rain's music would hit, he would come out, run down to the ring, cash in Money in the Bank, and completely screw Christian out of the win. Kind of just like taking the glorious moment from him. And then I also said if I go with Kurt Angle facing Triple H, I definitely want to have Kurt or Hunter injure Kurt, potentially like multiple power drivers, stuff like that. And then I also had the idea for Battleground putting Triple H in a championship scramble match, something that I would have had to put together with a bunch of singles matches and probably some triple threats and stuff like that as well. I did not decide to do that, obviously, and I probably wasn't going to go with that, but I probably would have been crazy enough to try it. So, yeah. And then the last thing was Kevin Owens, who he would face. And at that point, I think I was pretty set on Kevin facing AJ Styles. And I know I was going to have him face both Styles and Henry. And then I listed off just Kevin Owens' opponents as World Heavyweight Champion. He defeated Daniel Bryan, defeated Finn Balor, and defeated AJ Styles. Who could be next? And I didn't write anything else because I did not know. And then finally, the last thing I actually built up was Survivor Series. And I knew for a fact that I wanted the 4 Horsewomen versus Paige, Natalya, Beth Phoenix, and then somebody. Obviously, at that point, Bayley would debut onto the main roster coming out of NXT. Then I thought about having Natalya bring Caitlyn Rain back. So the whole thing with that was Caitlyn had come in like a ball of fire. She was doing very well, but she had lost twice to Nikki Bella, who was the Divas Champion at the time, before the women's title was brought in. Now, because of that, Caitlyn jumped down to NXT for a little bit, and at that point, I thought about bringing her back to this. Thought of bringing her back to the main roster, and I was actually going to have there be a little dynamic between Caitlyn and Paige, because in Universe Canon, Paige was the one to bring Caitlyn Rain into the WWE, and then Caitlyn kind of like piggybacked off of Paige a little bit, and that she got herself into a triple threat match that was originally one-on-one Paige and Nikki Bella at Extreme Rules. And then when Paige was still doing very, very well for herself, should have got the opportunity at Money in the Bank. Instead, it was Caitlyn getting the opportunity against Nikki Bella one-on-one. So because of Caitlyn Rain, Paige never got her one-on-one opportunity at Nikki's title. And then eventually Natalya swooped in at Bragging Rights and took the title from her. So that was the thing there. I said something later on that I went with, where I said I could also have Beth be on the team, play on the friendship of Natalya and Beth Phoenix, and of course I did decide to do that. So yeah, that would have been the ideas there. And then Team Triple H versus Team Christian, I wanted an actual 5-on-5 match, and it would have been Triple H, Reigns, Jericho. I couldn't do Del Rio because he wasn't in the game, and so I had to find 2 other people. And then I knew that I wanted Christian, and then 4 other people I hadn't decided. So I don't know. And again, I knew I had to have Kevin face somebody. I knew I needed someone for the Raw Tag Team Champion, Social Outcast. And yeah, but if we go back to Triple H versus Christian team 5-on-5, I did have some ideas for who could join Team Christian. I figured I should have Rollins, and more than likely Brock Lesnar as well, because in the build-up to, like, if I ever would have gotten to it, which I didn't, but if I did, I wanted to have Triple H absolutely screw Brock Lesnar out of an opportunity. And then I also said I could have, like, T.I.'s, I could have Dolph, because Dangerous Alliance worked that out. Could have Samoa Joe in there, because Joe had problems with Triple H, No, Joe had problems with Jericho and Reigns, I mean. Or I also could say, maybe have Joe switch sides and be on Team Triple H as a shocking twist. And do the, oh, if you can't beat him, join him thing. So that was there. I didn't decide on anyone to potentially face Owens or the Raw Tag Team Champions, but I did have some thoughts for the latter. I said it's definitely still too early for American Alpha. Lucha Dragons, they were injured at the time, so I could have brought them back. The New Day could get back in the running because the Dangerous Alliance were not the champions anymore. And I eventually wanted to have... Oh, actually, I did have an idea that I probably would have went with for Kevin Owens. And that was to have Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens for the world title on SmackDown. And I was going to build up... the way I was going to build it up was having Dean almost try and outdo Kevin. And do anything to get to Kevin. And I was going to build that matchup as, kind of like building up the original Dirty Deeds as a dangerous move. And then, of course, build up the package power driver. That was going to be like the two biggest moves that either man could hit. When either man, if Dean hit the original Dirty Deeds, the match more than likely would end. And if Kevin hit the package power driver, the match would definitely end. I was going to build that up. And I did not do that as well. But that's pretty much all the ideas and what everything would have happened if the original universe would have continued. Though actually, I did have way at the bottom here some if I were to do the championship scramble idea. So with the 4 open challenges in the month of September, I was thinking, okay, so Triple H barely beat Jason Jordan at SummerSlam. Like, Jordan looked very, very good. He got through Gable pretty handily. Gable got some good shots in. I wanted to have Triple H cheat, find a unique way to get out of matchups with the other 3 people that would have been in the open challenges. Then at Backlash, have Triple H have to face the 4 men he faced throughout the month, and 1 surprise superstar in a championship scramble match. And that's it. That was the only thing I was thinking of. There wasn't much planning at that point. But again, yeah, that's pretty much everything that would have happened if the original universe would have continued. Besides the fact that I knew damn well, 100% that Christian was going to be the one to take the WWE title off of Triple H. It would have been at the very last pay-per-view of the first year of Universe. And more than likely, I was going to have that last pay-per-view be Armageddon. Bring that pay-per-view back for the occasion. And then at the end of the night, right as the show was about to go off the air, Alex Wren would come out, cash in Money in the Bank, and screw Christian out of the glorious moment of finally holding the WWE title. So yeah, that was the only thing that was absolutely 100% going to happen. But I hope you enjoyed hearing all the ideas that would have gone down if I wanted to keep the magic going. Let me know what you think of the ideas. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, leave a like, comment down below, share it on social media, do all that good stuff. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye, guys.